sold all of you out at a recent congressional hearing. I'll tell you how. Here's what happened, a memo that I exclusively obtained and published. Jim Jordan went to this big hearing on antitrust for Google, and he opposed all antitrust regulation against Google. So here's what I mean by this. Here's how you're being conned. You're literally being conned. Jim Jordan could have joined a current memo by another Republican, Ken Buck. The memo says that tech companies are too large. They need to be split up. They're too big. Facebook should be Facebook. Instagram should be Instagram. Facebook shouldn't be allowed to control everything. Google should be allowed to control everything in search. Jim Jordan released a memo that said, if you break up Google, you will be punishing them for their success. If you break up Apple, you will be punishing them for their success. If you break up any of these monopolies, you will be punishing them for their success. This is not made up. This is an actual talking point in the Jim Jordan memo. The Jim Jordan memo said that doing any kind of antitrust regulation on Google or Facebook would be punishing them for their success. So now big Jim Jordan's got a sternly worded letter. Oh, wow, another sternly worded letter. And I see a lot of dumb people, or maybe they're not dumb, uneducated people being like, hell yeah, Jim, go get him. First of all, Jim Jordan's a minority House Republican. He has no power. Jim Jordan has no power. No more power than me. I probably get more tweet views than he does. In terms of influence, I am more influential than Jim Jordan. Why? Because he's a loser Republican. They lost the House because he's a loser, didn't do anything when they had the power. I can get more of a message out than Jim Jordan can. This is just a fact. So Jim Jordan writing a letter to Jack Dorsey or Mark Zuckerberg is the same as me bitching on Twitter. Jim Jordan is a Twitter bitch like me. We get on Twitter and we bitch. And then maybe we get something. Maybe we get some kind of like change. So, Jim Jordan wrote another letter. Oh, wow, Jim Jordan's writing a big letter. Tough guy. But when the congressional hearings happened on antitrust, and when it really mattered, Jim Jordan said, guys, and he doesn't wear a suit. I'm bigger than Jim Jordan too. I can out-wrestle Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is a bitch. Anytime Jim Jordan wants to have a BJJ match or something like that, we could do that too. So Jim Jordan doesn't wear a suit jacket because he just wears the shirt. He's such a cool guy. He wrote another letter to Mark Zuckerberg. So what? The GOP lost the House. Does anybody know how politics ended? Does anyone know how politics ended? Or politics works? If you are the minority party and you're a deep minority party, you don't have any power. Some old guy saying Jim Jordan could beat me up. You don't know anything then about me, that's for sure. You're just another typical idiot who watches Hannity and thinks Hannity can do a karate chop on you. You definitely don't know shit. So Jim Jordan could have joined the Ken Buck memo and pushed for bipartisan antitrust legislation. Bipartisan antitrust legislation. That's what's on the table. Bipartisan. Ken Buck and the conservatives and the Democrats. 90% of the country wants Facebook broken up. 90% of the country wants Google broken up. This is such a bipartisan, easy thing to do. But Jim Jordan, rather than just saying, well, I don't want to defend Google openly. Section 230. Section 230 is basically a dog whistle to you being stupid. Every time Jim Jordan says Section 230, he is saying, you people are dumb and don't know anything. You people don't know that there's antitrust legislation that could be enacted, bipartisan, that could completely take away and break up the tech monopoly's power. Section 230, conservative speech, another sternly worded written letter. You know what, people? We deserve more than another sternly worded letter. We deserve more than a few tweets, a few mean tweets. I can tweet. Jack Posobiec can tweet. We can all tweet. We can tweet. Leave the tweeting to social media people. If you're in Congress, right? I picked that meme up from it was kind of a funny thing. I watched the Call Her Daddy sort of meltdown videos. The new thing is like where you pretend to like half sing, half talk. If you're in Congress. And I thought that's kind of catchy. I sort of liked it. It was the blonde one who was talking about Call Her Daddy. She was like, I was happy with the deal. And I go, I kind of like that effect. Anyway, if you're wondering where that came from. If you are in Congress, you legislate. If you are on Twitter, you tweet. I know my role in this position. Like I was talking to a military veteran earlier, and I said one thing about being in the military is I know chain of command. I know that my boss is Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg. I know, I just accept it. It's a chain of command. You might not like it, but I've been under a chain of command under some real freaking morons before. So like I can get it. But I'm a Twitter guy. If you're in Congress and you have power, you use that power to break up tech monopolies. That is what you do. So what Jim Jordan has done is he's refused to join the bipartisan memo to break up monopolies. And he's going to keep conning you, oh, Section 230, another letter. Fuck your letter, dude. That's the only answer. You know, a lot of you don't cuss. Posto uses family-friendly language. I used to. I really tried the family-friendly thing, and I just can't do it anymore. I really tried, man. I really tried. But it just, fuck your letter. Fuck your shitty letter. Go fucking let people on Twitter tweet. Fuck your shitty letter. You're in Congress. What'd you do in Congress? Oh, you had the House for 2 years. Did shit. Nothing. Now you can't even link to a truthful article in the New York Post. You can't even DM people. It gets blocked. Oh, but you're going to write another fucking letter. Why you're a minority. That's why you're the minority party, Jim Jordan, because you're a bitch. Because you are a bitch for Google. You're a coward. You wouldn't go on Tucker and defend yourself. You won't admit that you're protecting Google and that the Section 230 shit, which you could have done in 2017. Fuck you in 2020 talking about Section 230. Join the bipartisan memo. Break up all these fucking tech companies. Break them all up. That's the only answer for any of this shit right now. So me, I've just lost all patience for these do-nothing Republicans, and I've lost patience for you rubes. Well, if you're watching me, you're not the rube. Be like, yeah, Jim, hell yeah, great fucking letter, bro. Knock him out, bro. Do you know that Jim Jordan has no power in Congress? Do you know that Jim Jordan cannot issue a subpoena? Do you know this? Do you know this? No, of course not. Well, you do, because you watch me, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, Jim Jordan has no more power than a Twitter bro with a following. I can write letters. If you're in Congress, you join the antitrust legislation, bipartisan antitrust reform, quit passing around fake Google lobbyist memos, and then they try to deny it. They go, oh, that memo was misrepresented. Dude, I posted the full memo on a website. What was there? What was there to do? Right? So all of you, what can you do? Hold Sean Hannity accountable. Tell him quit having Lindsey Graham on his show to raise money. Lindsey didn't. Tell him, Jim Jones, are you going to sign that antitrust thing? Jim Jones, do you support breaking up Google? Yes or no? So what can you do? Positive. Every time Jim Jones tweets some bullshit about Section 230, say, give back the Jim Jordan, whatever his name is. He's so irrelevant, I don't even know the guy's name. Sean is correcting his name. Because he's just another guy on Twitter. I'm not going to call him Congressman Jordan. He's just another guy on Twitter who thinks he looks cool because he don't wear a suit jacket, right? And I have better hair. He's just a guy on Twitter whose hair is not as good as mine, and he doesn't have as much passion and verve and spirit and soul and aggression and charisma and animal magnetism. He's just some guy on Twitter lower on the food chain than me. That's all this Jordan guy, Jim, whatever his name is. He's some guy on Twitter lower on the food chain than I am. That's the only thing when I see this guy. A guy that I would just steamroll in a debate, in any kind of situation. He's just a guy that I would look through as if he doesn't even exist. Because I would say, what a loser. Who is this person? He would just be invisible, and I would just steamroll through him. But until other people wake up, right? Every time you see this Hannity shit, Hannity, why is Jim Jordan protecting Google? Oh, Hannity, Trey Gowdy again. No more. Deserve better. Demand answers. Don't let people post this shit and get away with it. But just say, hey, bro, sign the Ken Buck memo. Antitrust legislation is Google. Or go on the record and just say, Will you bring me the mask? Somebody wants to know my Halloween costume. Will you bring me the beard, Shauna? Somebody wants to know my Halloween costume. Will you bring me the beard? So for Halloween, I'll let you guess my Halloween costume. I'll let you guess it, right? I'll let you guess my Halloween. We'll show you here in just a second.
I was just showing Sarah what Sarah made for you in the mail.
Oh, so Sarah, here's my Halloween costume. So if you wonder what I am for Halloween.
Sarah left that in the mail for him. In an envelope. Mark that.
All right, friends. Thanks for watching.
Do they know who you are? King Triton?
King Triton. Well, the moms would, probably the dads would.
Everybody knows. Little Mermaid.
Does everybody know I didn't know Little Mermaid before you.
See,
Darla thinks it's Zeus. It's King Triton from the Little Mermaid. So it's King Titan from the Little Mermaid.
The whole reason we're doing this is because I'm trying to repurpose Sarah's lobster costume from when she was 1 year old.
That's right.
So that's how this whole thing starts. I'm going to shove Rumi in a lobster costume. Then Sarah could be mermaid. I could be Ursula. Michael could throw in a beard. And,
all right, friends. Demand better. Quit being satisfied with some shitty letter from a House Republican who's in the minority. Just not going to cut it. Demand more. Demand more. Tell them that's not going to cut it. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Demand more for me. I demand more for my hair.